When I was 16 years old, I quit drinking soda. It was one of the first major lifestyle changes I ever made. And I got into a lot of conflict with my family and my classmates over it. Because to me, it was a lot easier to quit drinking the soda. Most of my peers and my family wanted me to cut back on soda. And just from personal experience, that was the harder option, right? And that was also less optimal, right? After all, every soda is probably bad for you. I mean, certainly less soda is better for you than more soda, but no soda is probably the best, right? So in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, why would I want to do something harder and less effective, right? But obviously my family did not understand. Now, that wasn't the only conflict that I ran into. A lot of my friends, when they heard I quit drinking soda, you got to remember I was 16 years old at the time, they drank more soda after hearing about me talking so badly about soda. Almost like if they quit drinking soda too, they would lose because I was the one who came up with it. Or you have this rebellious attitude, this zero-sum attitude that if you win, I'm losing, right? If you come up with something good, even if I benefit from it, I'm still losing because I didn't come up with it. I didn't think very much of it. After all, it's their body, their choice. But now, 20 years later, we run into this situation where a lot of people are upset about their working conditions because now we have to return to the office. A lot of people want to work remotely. And I like remote work, but not for the reason you might think. A lot of people want to save commuting time. For me, it's more about social acceptance. At the office, there's a lot of prejudice against me for various aspects of my personal life, right? So just last week, I went out to see a lunar eclipse, and to a lot of my colleagues, they think it's a waste of a vacation day, right? They'd rather go to Las Vegas, and they don't say it out loud, but the judgment is there. That's why I always have a tough time asking for those days off. And that's not the only piece of judgment. Obviously, the fact that I refuse various foods. I don't seem to have that much trouble with soda anymore, but definitely with other foods. And sometimes I eat other foods that people find a little bit repulsive as well. Although I'm getting better at not eating in the office now. I kind of make it a rule to not eat at my workplaces because it puts a little bit of separation between the two. I've had troubles revolving around that before. Anyways, so I was talking to some of my colleagues about this. I'm telling my colleagues this could be a win-win. Because right now we commute to the office, we work 40 hours. How would you feel if we didn't have to commute and we work 45 hours instead? You would still save a lot of time, right? Because where my colleagues were living, they were about an hour drive away. So they really spend 50 hours. So we'll split the difference, right? 45. I think everybody will be happy, right? And my colleagues' instant reaction, no, don't even think about that. Why should we give up more hours? Now, you're making the assumption, and so I'm thinking to myself, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, let's do the calculus here. What you just replied to me implies that you would rather be driving 10 hours than working 5 hours. Is that right? And I asked my colleague that, and he says, of course that's right. And I'm thinking that doesn't compute either. You took a job as a professor at a startup university. If what you just said was true, you should have taken a job as a truck driver, right? Obviously, it wasn't true. He was being emotional there, that if somebody gains something, somebody else has to lose something, right? If the company gains, you lose, right? And unfortunately, this kind of logic can really hold our species back, right? It's the same kind of logic that says that, even though I'm benefiting from social distancing, because you're benefiting, oh my God, I'm gonna hoard up all the toilet paper so you can't have any, right?